Welcome to r/MaliciousCompliance. In today's stories, a coach driver gets some revenge, a massage therapist deals with an annoying customer, and an angry Karen versus a too tired for your BS front desk clerk. What is up, guys, and I do hope you're well. And before we get started, I just want to say a massive thank you for sticking with me just recently. I know my posting's been inconsistent and I'm hoping to cure that very soon. I'm away next week, but I'm hoping to have a couple of posts to keep you going in the meantime. But I'm also going to be posting every day after that week. It's going to be consistent, guys. I promise. And with that being said, let's get started. You want to finish late tonight and start early tomorrow? No problem. Hi, I drive charter tour coaches for a living. Our industry is very heavy regulated, as it should be, as we carry the most valuable cargo. Your family, kids, relatives. And if I fall asleep and hit your car, well, you can work it out. Now, one of the rules is after a working day, a minimum of time in complete rest must be given undisturbed by law. This time can be reduced, but only 3 times a work period, between 2 weekly rest periods, basically between your days off. Another interesting rule is, by law, if your rest is disturbed, your rest must restart as though you never had to rest. This will be important later. It sounds confusing, but I can only have 9 hours rest 3 times a week, and the rest must be 11 hours minimum. Less than 11 complete hours rest period, and it's treated like I had 9 hours only, even if it's 10 hours 59 minutes, because most of our tour companies keep the rest periods to 11 hours minimum. Looking on the reduced rest as a just in case, we get held up and get finished late, etc. We can start on time the next day and stick to the itinerary. Now, we work with one tour company. I call them mega cheap tours, and their tour leaders like to squeeze every last bit of driving out of their tour hires. Excursions all day to some out of the way flea pit, as long as the tour leader gets a kickback, travel to the hotel, then a dinner transfer, and back to the hotel at night. None of it is in the itinerary stated. Most good companies eat close or in their hotel to allow the driver to rest. But for these guys, cheapest was best. And if that meant an hour there, an hour back at night, so be it. Screw the driver, we are paying for him. The reason for this is the tour leader got a kickback if they ate at the tour leader's favourite spot. And they had one in every overnight stop. I'd spoken to my traffic manager about how these guys just ignored the itinerary and was told to just do what they say. They are the customer. Now I was working with one tour leader, we'll call him Juan, well known for not only working you to death, but also stiffing you on your gratuities. He collected them from the passengers on the last day as we travelled to the airport to help you. Sat behind you, then placed them into an envelope you knew was light from experience. It's the last day of the tour. Tomorrow I get rid of them all at the airport, and good riddance, I thought. As the passengers are in excursion, Juan comes to the coach. We need to go here for dinner tonight, and passes me the address. I look at the sat-nav. Juan, that's 1 hour 15 minutes away from our hotel. You ought to be in 2 hours and then a 1 hour 15 back. Then I need to shut down the coach and park it. I won't be finished till 11 PM. He looks at me. I know the rules. You need 9 hours rest. We will leave at 8 AM, plenty of time for a 2 PM flight. International. He was right, of course, but remember that 3 times a week thing? He had already had me on short rest 3 times this trip, owing to dinner transfers. Not 9 hours, but 10 hours something each time. This guy always pushed it to the max. It was this point malicious compliance kicked in. You're right, I can work after 9 hours. I changed the subject quickly as he smiled at me thinking he screwed me over. While the dinner transfer was worse than I thought, heavy traffic getting there meant I was late, which meant they started eating late, which of course meant they came back late. By the time I parked at the hotel, it was closer to midnight. I knew what was coming in the morning, so phoned my 24-hour traffic department. As I expected, I was told under no circumstances was I to break the law and run without my legal rest. Massive fines for the company and for me if I did. Normally I'd set 2 alarms when I'm on reduced rest as, to be honest, it takes its toll and I need to get them up. But tonight, I set nothing and took my hotel phone off the hook. I went to bed. I woke up to thumping on my hotel door. There was the hotel manager and a very irate Juan. You stupid driver, it's 8 AM. Everyone is outside, checked out with luggage, and you slept in. Get dressed and get the coach. I smiled. Juan, I'm on my legal break. We got back nearly at midnight, so can't start till nearly 9. But besides, I've worked 3 times after reduced rest this trip and can't go anywhere until 11 hours undisturbed rest. Also, you've just disturbed my rest, as this gentleman can confirm. I was friendly with the hotel staff. They use the same hotels every trip, and the staff hated Juan's trips, as he never tipped, or rather his guest did through his suggestion, but he collected it to hand in. Which means by law my rest period resets and starts again. But you know this, as you know the rules, right? So see you at 7 PM tonight. I'm cool for a late checkout, right? I said to the manager, who was nodding enthusiastically, knowing what I'd just done. Juan's eyes nearly bulged out of his head, which was funny. Wait, what do you mean? We need to get a 2 PM flight. I know, I said. Best start organising taxis for the 40 odd people out there, and next trip don't stitch up your driver, as I shut the door on them both. I knew what was about to happen. Within 5 minutes, my own phone rang, the traffic manager asking what time I finished the night before, then saying you can start at 9, until I pointed out the 3 late finishes. Silence. Then, well, you're right, but don't expect to be doing any more of this company's tours. They were requests we never send you. I asked if he wanted me to drive without legal rest. I knew he wouldn't dare say yes, as I could be recording it. No, you must take legal rest. This is the tour leader's problem, of his making. If he had stuck to the itinerary's hours, everything would be fine. Just do me a favour and start at 11 AM, not 7 PM. We need the coach back here tonight. I knew when to not push it any further, and said I would be happy to start at 11 AM, and start getting ready now, and go down for breakfast. An hour later, when I went down and saw Juan surrounded by angry passengers screaming at him with his phone to his ear, he saw me and he came over. Mr. Driver, please, I know my company can get a coach to hire, and it's 40 miles to the airport, and our flight leaves in just over 4 hours. My company are mad I've not left you legal rest, and are blaming me. Please help me. I couldn't resist. 1. If you use all those gratuities you have stolen from me and everyone else over the years, you'll be able to afford to hire 10 taxis no problem and make the flight. But I'll be quick about it, otherwise you might get stuck with 40 odd replacement flights as well as taxis. 1 gulped, eye bulged, and went white, all in one. It was funny to watch, and ran to reception asking for 10 taxis. What was funnier was when the taxi showed up, they said he needed another 4 or 5 just for the luggage. Each person had 2 massive suitcases. I just sat watching the show through the window, eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee. The staff thought I was a hero, and all smirked and looked on from their respective posts. I knew after this, no tips from the passengers would change hands, and the cost of those taxis would hit its current fiddle bankroll hard, or so I hoped. My boss was right, I never have, nor never will do this company's tours again. It was quickly passed back I was not wanted, but Juan has never been back leading this company's tours either. My ex-colleagues, I knew my cards are marked as trouble, and found another job with another charter company very easily. Have told me that now the tour leaders are told by their head office to never give the drivers less than 11 hours off every night, and factor this into any dinner transfers. If it can't be accommodated, then no dinner transfer, and no off itinerary excursions, period. He got you good, Juan. You deserve that. Imagine just being sat in your bus watching that chaos unfold and watching this guy panic after robbing you. Must be so glorious. Our next story is, Sir, I followed your instructions and we only have 50 minutes. I am a licensed massage therapist. At one point worked for a national franchise chain. This chain and others will have hour-long appointments, but the actual massage is 50 minutes. 5 minutes for intake and disrobing, 50-minute massage, 5 minutes for exit interview, dressing, and room turnover. As such, we LMTs have our own timing down to an art. If someone asks for focus work on, say, their shoulders, we have a time plan to take time away from the arms, legs, or feet to accommodate. I had a client come in and request a full body massage with focus on his lower back. We have a plan figured out. I know where I'm pulling time from and communicated that with him, and off we go. As I'm redraping his back so I can move on to his leg, he asked me to go back and spend more time on his back. We're already 25 minutes into his 50 minutes at this point. We still have both legs, back and front, arms and neck/head to do. I tell him and he says that's fine. Just spend a little more time on his back. So I revisit his low back for a few minutes, then go to his leg. I finish his calf and move to his hamstrings, and he asked me to go back to his calf. I remind him of the time and his full body request. He said he knew, but his calf needs more attention. Fine, if this is how he wants to spend his time, so be it. So I redo his calf until he says, "You can move on now." And so I do. This pattern continues with his hamstring. Do that again. "Oh, you can move on. Spend more time there." "Okay, move on." And the entire back of his other leg. When he is face up, I finish one leg and then redrape him entirely and let him know that I'm stepping out so that he can dress. He says, "I thought this was going to be a full body massage." I say, "It was going to be, but I was asked to keep revisiting areas." "But I want a full body massage." "Sir, I followed your instructions exactly." "But you only finished one leg." "I reminded you of the time and followed your instructions exactly." And he couldn't argue with that. If you book like an hour massage, you wouldn't expect them to go over because you're requesting special areas and things. Oh my god, how entitled you have to be to do that sort of stuff. And then complain about it at the end, I mean, god. Angry Karen versus too tired for your BS front desk clerk. This could be spicy. Here's how a Karen attempted to forbid me from getting coffee at my job and how I sent a horribly bleached wig flying. The joys of customer service. Here's some background. So I work at a club/fitness centre that is located within a gated community. Basically, a breeding ground for Karens. Most people are very entitled. I also happen to live in this community, but my mum and I rent and generally keep to ourselves and don't get involved in the drama. When you live in the community, a membership to the club where I work that has a pool, tennis court, gym and dance studio is included in the HOA dues. When you rent, like my mum and I do, the owner's membership is transferred to you. I work front desk/juice bar, which means I greet members, send emails, basically keep the place together. I also prepare all of the complimentary snacks and drinks to keep them filled throughout the day. The people are very annoying, but it's good money for a 16-year-old and my boss/co-workers are great. Now, back to Karen. It's about 8 AM on a Saturday, which means prime coffee time. My shift starts at 5:30 AM, so I'm pretty tired and ready for a cup. I make all the coffee and complimentary food/drinks, so after I finish setting up, I usually have some. I have explicit permission from my boss to do so. Members of the club can all have complimentary food/drinks they want, so everyone wins. Enter Karen. The giant canvas tote and terribly bleached bob are telltale. I'm standing at the counter, minding my own business, pouring a cup of coffee. Karen asks in such a shrill voice that I could probably break glass. "Young lady, what do you think you're doing?" Me, surprised. "Getting coffee?" I was also pretty annoyed at being called young lady. I am not her kid to talk down to and patronise. Karen huffs. "You can't do that." Me, too tired for this bullshit. "Why not?" Karen, determined to combat the apparent danger of minimum wage employee getting coffee, shrieks, "You aren't a member. You can't get coffee if you aren't a member. Until then, no coffee for you." I start to hatch my ever so devious plan. Cue Uno reverse card. I don't respond to Karen and walk over to the clocking machine to punch out. Members have a PIN number that they have to enter into the keypad so we can keep track of the number of people using the facilities. I walk over to the keypad, enter my PIN, and my name and picture pop up on the monitor, indicating that I am indeed a member. I then walk over to the bar, passing Karen, who looks like she's about to spontaneously combust with anger, to pick up my half-full cup of coffee and proceed to fill it from the coffee dispenser. I then walk back over to the clocking machine, holding my coffee, and punch back in. I sit back down at the front desk and start working on entering payments. Karen is still standing by my desk, looking like she's about to have an aneurysm. I just ignore until she proceeds to leave. The 20 cents I lost from clocking out for 2 minutes was worth the look of pure horror on Karen's face. And you know, we all love to see Karen squirm. Once again guys, I just want to say a massive thank you for sticking with me. I know I see regular names in the comments every day. Don't think I don't recognise that. It means the world to me. I love your guys' comments. It really, I'm getting all emotional. Thank you so much guys. That's all I mean. Thank you so much. Take care now. Goodbye.